I'm Jessica, and this is ATC Presents Daebak K-Rambles, where a couple of friends review Korean dramas, not Korean dramas. And I have a repeat guest with me today. I have Caitlin from No Sleep for Dramas. I am very tongue-tied tonight. But Caitlin, I hope you are not, and thank you so much for returning on this podcast for this chaotic rambles, another one. How are you? How you been?
I'm good. I'm excited to talk about this drama.
No kidding, bro. So Caitlin was so gracious enough to join me on the Something in the Rain review. So if you want to scroll back in your podcast feed and listen to it, you can. Caitlin was really wonderful. And a lot of people had stuff to say about the Something in the Rain episode. It's very contentious, and we really did a deep dive on that. People really appreciated all the things that we talked about, including your introduction into K-dramas and what you really like, the genres that you gravitate toward in K-drama. And when you said you like the criminal dramas, that you love the law dramas and the procedurals, I was like, ooh, good, noted. And I had that in the back of my head. And then when I was picking the dramas for season 3, I was like, oh my God, I need Caitlin back for Flower of Evil. And we're back. We're doing it. It's happening.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm very excited.
I'm excited. But before we get into it, housekeeping. If this is your first time listening, go ahead and subscribe on your favorite podcast app. We're on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and many more. And if you like us, please give us a 5-star rate and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Also, come and check us out on social media to stay up to date on everything that we're doing, our latest episodes, our reviews. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at ATC Daebak Pod. And lastly, if you're a fan, please consider becoming a patron. It is such a great way for you to get involved and show your support and get exclusive content. You can check out the page on patreon.com/alwayscriticpod. And thank you to our patrons, Curtis, Janet, Robin, and Bale. You guys are great. All right. We're going to get into it. I'm going to read the Asian Wiki synopsis, and then we're going to get
Let me just really quickly, if you guys don't follow this on TikTok, it should. It's hilarious, just so you know.
Okay. So yeah.
I love your TikTok account.
The TikTok account for ATC Daebak is a mess, like a true mess. And
it's a beautiful mess, though. It's a beautiful mess. It's always entertaining.
I am so glad you find it entertaining. I kind of just do the videos like, well, if I was someone who liked K-dramas and this was going to pop up on my feed, what would I like to see? And it's like, I'd like to see an idiot making fun of K-dramas and the whole experience. And I'd like to see some XYZ. I just do that, and I hope that people are happy with it. And I'm so glad that you are happy with it and that I'm entertaining you, Caitlin. I really am.
It's very entertaining. It is.
Yeah, same account. Like I said, ATC Daebak Pod. You can find us on Twitter. Really me on Twitter. Rico doesn't have anything to do with the socials, but I just kind of make it seem like he's there. I feel really bad, but he's like, you take it, you run it, however you want to run it. And I was like, got you. Okay. All that being said, we're going to get into it now. Flower of Evil. Asian Wiki synopsis reads, Chae-Won is a detective. She is married to Baek-sung, and they have a daughter. Baek-sung seems like a committed husband and father, but he hides his cruel past and lives under another person's identity. He deceives his wife completely. Chae-Won learns of his deception and chases his past. I gotta be honest, I almost never use the Asian Wiki synopsis because of this exact reason. Because it's like weirdly written, and then it's like leaves off on such a weird note as well. Like, and she chases his past. That's like a gross understatement, but okay. All right. Flower of Evil aired originally from July to September 2020. It is 16 episodes long, and it's directed by Kim Chol-kyu, who won Best Director for Flower of Evil at the 57th Baeksang Awards, which is something of note that the director won for Best Director. He's done Celebrity from Netflix in 2022. I don't know if it's come out yet, or if it's been canceled or what have you. I haven't heard anything about Celebrity, but he also directed Mother from 2018, Chicago Typewriter from 2017, and Emergency Couple from 2014, which is like a rom-com kind of deal. I vividly remember watching Emergency Couple, and I still have Mother and Chicago Typewriter on my, endless K-drama queue that I have to get through at some point. Flower of Evil was written by Lee Joon-Gi And she's only written 2 dramas. It's this one and Naked Fireman from 2017. I don't know if you've ever even heard of it.
It's like a 4-episode, really quick drama. It's entertaining. It's a little different, but it's entertaining.
A little? Okay. And Flower of Evil stars basically 2 people. Lee Joon-Gi as Becky Sung. And where don't you know him from? I guess the first thing that I saw him in was My Girl from 2005. Did you ever get around to seeing My Girl?
No, but I've definitely heard of it.
Okay, yeah, he's the second lead in that. I remember starting Ildume from 2008. That's an 2008 drama, and I couldn't get into that one, so I dropped it. Arang and the Magistrate I watched. Scholar Who Walks the Night is another historical. And then I think everyone kind of lost their shit with this one. Moon Lovers, Scarlet Heart Rio from 2016. The Year of Our Lord 2016.
I've never watched it.
Really? Okay, look.
I avoid sad dramas. I got spoiled heavily on this, so I'm like, I'm never, ever going to watch this drama.
Oh my God, Caitlin. So I watched this as it was airing, and I gotta say, this was like the fever pitch. 2016 was full of fever pitch dramas where it was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? I need to watch this as soon as it comes out. I have no chill.
This drama also aired in the time period that I had no access to dramas. So like by the time I gained access again, it had already finished airing and was spoiled heavily and whatever. So I just was like, I'm not even going to try and watch it.
Yeah, I would say that was...
with the death of drama fever, you can't really find it anywhere anyway.
That's what I was going to say next. I was like, Drama Fever was the platform that I watched it on. Mm-hmm. And Drama Fever died not long after that. So, yeah, Moon Lovers was a casualty. No one can find Moon Lovers anywhere nowadays. As soon as it comes back on streaming, the people are going to freak out because I think the people who have heard of it and the hype of it is unreal. At this point, it's legendary.
Yeah. I'm really curious to watch this Chinese drama it's based off of.
Me too.
I've never watched it, but Vicky has it, and I'm really more curious to check that one out just to see.
You know what? I never pressed play on that. This is a huge segue because as soon as we hit Moon Lovers, we had to pause. So I really want to watch that one too, the original Scarlet Heart. But as soon as I saw the thumbnail and it had, it was that time in Chinese history where they were like shaving their heads, right? Yeah. And they had the long braid. And I was like, I don't think I can swing that. I literally was like, I don't know if I can swing that. Just how some people can't swing the saguks with like the buns and the hanbok and stuff. I look at that and I was like,
some people do not like watching dramas from that era. Like I've met other people who are the same way. They cannot, for some reason, they just cannot watch dramas that are made from that era.
Right.
Then that's okay. I mean, not every drama is made for everybody.
I agree. You know? It's a little surprising to me because it took after a couple of them, I was like, this is great. Like, I really like the sagas, the historical dramas. But that specific era of C-drama, like historicals, I could never press play on those. I think I watched one and I was like, this was a lot. I was like, I don't know if I can do it. Anyway, so that's why I've never watched the original Scarlet Heart. Although I really want to. Anyway, Lee Joon-Gi is, I want to say, like a sex god. I don't know how you feel about Lee Joon-Gi, but I think as soon as Moon Lovers hit, like that was it. That's all he can be known for is just like, it's either the guy from Moon Lovers or he's just this beautiful man, Lee Joon-Gi, like on another level. So there's that. The most recent thing that he was in was Again My Life in this year, 2022, which I never watched. And then he was was
pretty good.
Okay.
I mean, we all know Lee Joon-Gi is known for his fighting. He's very good at fighting. So a lot of his dramas, especially the modern ones, has to do, like, incorporates the fighting into it. And Again My Life was that same pattern. Like, he was fighting against corrupt government and using his fighting skills to get through gangsters and all that stuff. And it was good, but the ending, in my opinion, could have been better.
Ooh.
Like, it kind of was a cop-out, in my opinion, by the end. Like, because it was clearly setting up for a season 2 if it wanted to do one. So it wasn't bad. It was definitely entertaining. It just, in my opinion, could have been better.
Gotcha.
But I actually saw him, if I can remember the movie. I think the first time I saw him was in a movie, The King and the Clown, which is extreme. Like it's kind of the movie that put him on the map. It's from like 2005, I want to say, if I remember. Yeah, 2005, according to my drama list. I did not watch it in 2005. I was not watching dramas at that time, but I watched it like 2012, 2013.
Okay.
And like, it is very...
Oh, God.
There's a reason why he got noticed in that drama. It's very well... It's a good movie. But yeah, that's kind of the movie that everybody says put him on the map. And then I followed his career from there. I definitely have not seen everything of his, though.
Yeah, neither have I, for sure. He was in Lawless Lawyer in 2018. I think that one got some buzz. And I'd never heard that he was in this, but Criminal Minds from 2017. I don't know what.
I wanted to watch that. Again, it was one that I didn't gain access to until much later. Actually, oh my God, I never remember her first name.
Moon Chae-Won.
Moon Chae-Won, yes, was in that.
Yeah, they started it together.
Like, because Flower of Evil was the second drama they did together. But yeah, I mean, I love the American Criminal Minds, so I was very curious to see how this was. I did not watch it. I still have not watched it.
Okay, fair.
Because I heard it was meh. It wasn't, in terms of the acting, it was good, but like the story was not that good.
Okay, well, I don't know if that's something that this Flower Evil has in common, but okay. His co-star in Flower of Evil is Moon Chae-Won, like we just mentioned. She plays Chae-Won, and she's been in about 5 movies, including Mood of the Day from 2016, which I really enjoyed, and War of the Arrows, which I still have on my watch list. I have wanted to watch War of the Arrows forever. I don't know why I haven't pressed play, but here we are, 2022, still haven't watched War of the Arrows. She's been in quite a bit of TV. I watched her first, and I remember her in this. She was in Brilliant Legacy from 2009. And that's with Han Hyo-joo and Lee Joon-Gi. You know, Lee Joon-Gi is currently in Law Cafe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Brilliant Legacy. She was in My Fair Lady, Princess's Man, which is one of the best historical dramas.
I know that show by a different name. Okay. I'm like, Brilliant Legacy. What is
must
that?
Be
it's like Shining Inheritance.
Yes, Shining Inheritance.
I have not watched that, but that's the title I know that by. So I was like, what is that drama?
Yeah, it's also called Shining Inheritance. So I highly recommend Shining Inheritance / Brilliant Legacy from 2009. I highly recommend The Princess's Man from 2011, which is one of the best sagas I've ever watched in my life. I've watched it twice. So good. She was an Innocent Man from 2012 with Lee Joon-Gi. Lee Joon-Gi, I think. And that one was, I mean, wild. Good Doctor from 2013. Like we said, Criminal Minds from 2017. And she was in Mama Fairy and The Woodcutter from 2018. I feel like I heard of that one, but I never got around to watching it.
Mama Fairy was an interesting drama.
Really?
Yeah. Innocent Man was the one with Song Joong-ki.
Yes.
Yeah, that was that one. That was my first drama with her.
Okay.
I actually want to rewatch that at some point because I don't remember a lot of it.
I don't remember. I just remember being like really dramatic. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I remember it being very dramatic.
Super dramatic.
And I definitely remember some of the dramatic scenes, but overall I don't remember a lot of it.
Yeah.
But the one that I really like, I did watch Mama Fairy.
Okay.
I also watched The Good Doctor. So like The Innocent Man was my first one. The Good Doctor I watched, and then I watched Mama Fairy. But I primarily watched Mama Fairy for the 2 other stars in it.
Okay.
I like her a lot, but I like the male leads. But the funny thing is like they have worked together before this drama. So this was like, or either that or like they did another drama after that. I don't know. These leads have worked together as 2 male leads in multiple dramas together.
Oh.
But what was interesting about that one is you didn't know who she would end up with, and it kind of did a twist on it.
Oh.
Which was entertaining, and I liked because I was rooting for the one she chose, so
right.
I was very yes,
I got
choose him type of thing.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it was eccentric. It was out there. It was a little like weird, but it was entertaining. It was fine.
Got you. I don't know if I'll ever watch it, to be quite honest with you. I think I'd rather watch.
It has a tiger in it.
A real tiger or a CGI tiger?
It has like a CGI tiger in modern Seoul in multiple scenes.
That's not selling it for me. I would rather you tell me like there was a really controversial real tiger in it. I'll be like, hell yeah, I'm gonna watch that so fast. No.
The one of the male leads rides the tiger when he's drunk. that's the idea.
Say less. Say less, Caitlin.
That's how eccentric this drama was.
It
was interesting.
Okay, so we're on the other side of their filmography. Caitlin, I will tell you that I'm gonna have to lean on you a lot for this review because I watched this completely out of order. What happened was almost, I want to say maybe 8 months ago, maybe even 9 months ago, I started watching Flower of Evil with the intention of watching it for the podcast, for season 2 of the podcast, not season 3. So I was watching a long time ago. I got to like episode 10 or 11 around there. I almost finished the show, very close to finishing, right? And then I realized, like Rico can't do season 2. So like, what am I going to do? I should like rearrange this and pick like slightly different dramas and like figure out a new thing. And I dropped Flower of Evil like 9 months ago at episode 10 or 11. I hadn't taken any notes on it whatsoever. Did not know like what was happening in the show. So when I picked it up again this week, I picked it up again and I was like, oh yeah, I'll just go back to like where I was in the show.
Yeah, that's not possible.
Not possible. I literally started the episode around like episode 9 or 10. I was like, let me just go back one episode or so. I was like, I can't do this. I got to go back a further episode. So I started at episode 8, halfway through the show, and I was still lost. Super lost. So I had to go to Drama Beans and read what I had missed. I was taking notes and it was taking me so long to read the synopses because I was lacking so much comprehension. I was like, who are these characters? I didn't have like a frame of reference for like what they were doing. And then I was like, oh, right. That's what happened. So then it would click and I would move on to the next episode synopsis. And it went like that for 11 synopses.
Damn.
And then I picked up where I left off in the show. And let me tell you, I will never be doing that again. 0 out of 10 would I recommend doing that. I have such a bad memory. I can't do that for dramas. It's just such a disservice. So that's why I say I'm going to be leaning on you a lot because you love this show. And you can bridge some gaps, I think. Because I might come in a little hotter than I anticipated. So, Caitlin, why don't you?
And I watched this as it aired, so I was watching it. Yeah,
in 2020. So, tell me what you thought of Flower of Evil.
I loved it overall. I do have some qualms with the last episode, like 15 going into 16. And I remember being somewhat more irked with the decisions made in both those episodes versus like the K3, because I remember like texting Jen from the K3, which is the YouTube channel that I also write for. I was like, why the heck did they do this? It's episode 16. And she's like, I love it. I'm like, okay. But like by the end of episode 16, I appreciated the decisions made. But at the beginning, I was like, why? Why do this? Why? But I loved it. I liked the flow. I liked how like the secrets, how they were revealed. I liked how, like, as an audience member, you didn't really understand what was going on because, I mean, I personally like when crime dramas are unpredictable. That, like, me as an audience member can't figure out the murderer or solve the crime before the characters are. Because that has happened to me where I know who it is, like, episode 8 of 16 and then I'm bored. and like yelling at the cops on screen saying, it's him, or like test this thing, like this will give you the clue, blah, 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 blah. So I appreciate when dramas are unpredictable, and this one definitely was.
Nice. Yeah. Very, very nice. I agree to a certain extent. I think that when I was first watching Flower of Evil, I'm going to dredge up my original feelings. It was like a very easy watch for me, which is, I guess, why I never took a single note when I originally watched it. I was like, oh yeah, I don't need to take notes on this. I think I was kind of not upset, but just there was a reveal that happened kind of early on about a character, and then you're just kind of floating along like, okay, they made this reveal real early and there's less stakes all of a sudden. I think the show was still operating under the assumption that they had stakes, high stakes were happening. And I was like, no, I don't really feel any high stakes. And I feel bad in saying that because towards the end of the show, they gain the stakes back. And you start feeling that unpredictability, that chaos that you were praising. You were like, oh yeah, I don't want to know like what's going to happen next. I want to be kept on my toes. And I agree with you, especially for this kind of drama where it's a criminal drama. I was very taken aback by the approach in the final episodes, the final episode, you could say. And I was like, oh, this feels very 2005.
Oh yeah. And the funny thing is, I'm usually a fan of that type of trope use. Like I love that trope.
You do?
But I do. I love it. We can do that. We can talk about later in spoilers. I'm just a sucker for that type of trope. Okay. I'm a sucker for it. That's why I love mahjongs. But
oh, that's right.
I did not like it here when it first happened because I thought it was a cop-out. In this specific instance, I thought they used it as a cop-out. Yeah. Also, just before we move on to like stuff, but because we're still kind of on the cast, I actually watched this drama for Kim Ji-hoon.
Really?
Like when I saw that he joined the cast, that was what made me interested in this. Right, I probably would still have watched it even if he didn't join. Okay. But I was very curious to see, because at the time when they revealed him as a cast, they didn't tell us much. Like, they just said he's in the cast. They didn't say what he was.
Look, even if you go to the Asian Wiki right now and look at the cast list for Flower of Evil, Kim Ji-hoon is way down there. They do not say who his character is. They're just I
remember my drama list, like, didn't even have him, like, they had him as a guest, like, for the longest time. Until they started, like, airing it and realizing, because, I mean, obviously, most of those websites are, like, community-based. So people didn't know because the information wasn't out there type thing. But before this drama, I think he had not been in a drama in a while.
Yeah, he's...
in a long time.
Right.
And I was curious to see what I was curious because I hadn't seen him in a drama in a really long time, and I wanted to because I'm a very big fan of his. But I also was curious what he would do in this type of role because I hadn't seen him even in a crime drama before. I think the last time I've seen him like somewhat in a crime drama, I never have not seen this drama, but it's on my list, it was like Bad Thief, Good Thief from like 2016, 2017.
Right. Yeah, I heard of that
and
one.
I think he was a lawyer or a cop in that one. I don't remember what the synopsis says his character was. But I think I was intrigued also because the drama didn't give us anything. Like, they didn't say who he was. So I was like, okay, well, one, I already know I'm watching this because of the two main leads.
Right.
But I also am really curious what his role is because the one, they also announced it, if I remember correctly, very late. They had already announced the two leads, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, he's joining it too. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. Well, I like him. So I'm going to watch this drama.
He's kind of the Kevin Spacey of it all. And I mean that in the best way possible, not in the worst way, because Kevin Spacey takes on a whole new meaning now in 2022. But back in the day, he was like the pinch hitter for a lot of thriller movies, considering he was the pinch hitter and secret cast member of Seven. And it was the same way for, oh my God, what's that? The Usual Suspects, where he was like a main player, but then, you know, obviously there's a twist at the end of The Usual Suspects. And Kevin Spacey, like, you would never think that Kim Ji-yoon would give off a Kevin Spacey vibe.
No.
But we could talk about it later on in spoilers. He did fantastic. He was fantastic.
Oh, he was my favorite. He was definitely like a highlight of this drama for me.
Yeah,
I also love the fact because people noticed him too. Like this drama was an introduction for a lot of people to him, which always makes me happy when actors I'm a fan of or actresses I'm a fan of and know going into dramas where other people might not know them because, I don't know, they have never been in a lead role and this is their first lead role, or they're just a memorable supporting character and they want to see, like, oh my God, I'm blanking on his name. The lawyer from Extraordinary Attorney, the boss guy.
Oh yeah. I feel like his last name is Kang.
Yeah, but he's been in. He's one of those supporting characters that have been in everything.
He's that guy. You're like, oh, it's that guy from that drama, and you never remember his name.
He got a lot of hype with that, and like people were like, oh man, like I know he's been in a lot of dramas, but I've never really noticed him. He got a lot more traction with that, and I always liked that when it happens. Kang Ki-young, yeah. I loved him before Extraordinary Attorney Woo.
Yeah.
I like when that type of thing happens, and I think Flower Evil, this was kind of Kim Ji-hoon's.
This was the Ji-hoon
Attorney Woo's. Yeah.
Ji-hoon for him.
I think a lot of people. I just remember on Twitter, a lot of people like, who is this guy? This guy is insane. And I was posting pictures of him like really buff because he was like a model and all that stuff.
He is fit.
Yeah.
He is super fit.
Oh, yeah. He's fit. And yeah.
I think he's shirtless.
And I think also the long hair, long hair helps.
Girl, we can talk about
him. And he still has the long hair. I'm an Instagram follower. He still has it. I mean, he had it in Money Heist too.
Money Heist was
this year. But
yes, he played Denver in Money Heist and Korea Joint Economic Area, whatever.
Yeah.
So,
but anyway, I liked this drama because of him as well. Okay. Like he was a major factor of me watching this drama as well.
Interesting, and I'm glad you're not gatekeeping Kim Ji-yoon either, because I tend to be like a gatekeeper of people. I'm like, oh yeah, I've known that guy for years, not personally, but just in these dramas.
There's too many at this point. There's too many. I can't really gatekeep anybody.
You're right,
because it's like. I've known this person from 2009, 2010, and people are just discovering him now.
Yeah.
What can I do?
Right. All right. What did you think of, I guess we should go to our main guy, Lee Joon-Gi, his performance and his journey throughout the course of the show, because I feel like he goes through a roller coaster just in terms internal and external. So I was really... I don't know if I was blown away by his performance necessarily. I think it was good, but was it the best that I've ever seen of him? I kind of feel like the Moon Lovers kind of clinched that for me, because that one was another emotional, crazy roller coaster and infamous ending. But in this one, I don't know. I'm on the fence about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, since I have not seen Moon Lovers, I mean, I've seen enough where I like know his acting, but I think I enjoyed his acting in this a lot. I think for me, it was different. I think before that, I had seen him in like Lawless Lawyer and like these types of roles where, again, he shows off his fighting skill and doesn't really... It's kind of like his character can only be so much when you're like a fighting person.
Yeah.
And so I think Flower of Evil kind of showed his range that he could do in terms of being like, is he potentially an evil character? Is he not? And him being able to play around with that, being a family man and showing off that side of him and that character. I think what I loved about this was, like, on one hand, the character was, like, cold and not emotional and kind of distant, but then he also, like, a really creepy, distant type of way. And then he also was, like, the loving father. But I think what he did so well was, like, even when he was playing, like, the loving father and doting husband part of his character, it still somewhat came off as creepy sometimes, because you never really knew if he was actually the bad guy, or if he was a killer, or if he, like, was going crazy. Like, you did not know.
Right.
And I think I had never seen him do that type of character, and I think that expanded his range and showed people what more than he could do. Because, I mean, I think what it comes down to is I have not seen a lot of his movies. He might have shown this some more in movie roles, but in terms of dramas that I've seen of him, it was all, like, fighting, kick ass, bring down the patriarchy, bring down everything like that. So I like the fact that this was more a rounded character for him.
Yeah, he's definitely been Iljime for almost his entire career. Iljime is basically like a not Peter Pan, Robin Hood, like a Robin Hood kind of character. Yeah. And he's very cocky and confident and, like you said, a fighter. He's got this persona
like
about him.
Like that scene where he was staring at himself in the mirror and, like, had those cards of, this is what happy looks like. That was creepy. Like, I thought he did that very well.
So here's my thing about it, is that he is, I want to say, mid-30s, late 30s, I think, in this show. He's supposed to be
in the show. Like, the character is 40. I mean, the actor he's 40.
Yeah,
but,
so he's playing like a late 30s, almost 40.
Yeah, I think
he's in the show.
Yeah, I think he's around the same age in terms of character.
I don't think this is much of a spoiler, but he's been married for 10 years, I think.
Yeah,
and
I think so.
It's not that he's watching. He's no. How do I put this? It's not that he's watching these videos of how to express emotions. Is that he's doing it still to this day after 10 years of marriage, still studying emotion. It just feels really belated. Like, why would he still be doing this? He hasn't had this lesson before. Is this a refresher on how to be sad or how to be happy? So that was, like, my nitpick, I guess, is that I was like, okay, cool. He's very creepy here. But timeline wise, this doesn't make sense to me.
Okay.
Because
yeah, that's fair.
He's been married and playing this charade for, like, over a decade, and now he's looking up how to be happy, how to look happy in front of her. So that didn't click for me. But I will say that I felt this more on first watch when I was watching it 9 months ago. But he does a good job of playing creepy, and he does a good job of being an unreliable narrator. Which, it's not that he's literally voiceover narrating the show, but he is the protagonist, and you kind of believe, you want to believe in this dude the whole show. And when he does things that are kind of creepy, or, you know, I don't think I can get behind that, he just did XYZ, you are put in a position like, do I still support this dude, even if all of a sudden I think he's a murderer or whatever. So I think it's kind of challenging the audience a lot of the time for their own perception. Like, why are you rooting for this guy? He's very shady. He's doing this. He doesn't know how to be happy. He doesn't know how to express sadness. He's faking it or whatever. Mm-hmm. So I think it is kind of playing up the audience sympathies. And especially for this actor who is quite beloved at this point, 4 years removed from Moon Lovers, people want to see Lee Joon-Gi and they want to root for him. And they have this really interesting, beefy character that he's sinking his teeth into. And again, very unreliable. You don't know who to trust. And I think that kind of brings me to Moon Chae-Won's character. I really like her, usually. I think when I was watching it 9 months ago, I didn't think that she was annoying. Now, when I finished the show, I was like, man, she was kind of annoying. What did you think of Moon Chae-Won?
Again, I had not seen her in a lot before this, so this was a different character for me. Because, again, before, the only thing I really had seen her in was that tiger one I was just describing. I can't remember what it's called though.
Mama Fairy and the Woodcutter.
Yeah, Mama Fairy. That was really like that was the drama that was kind of fresh in my mind for that. So again, I appreciated the fact that this was a different character that I had never seen her in. I appreciated that it was a character that seemed to meld well with Lee Joon-Gi. I think they had very good chemistry and played off well. I will say though, I thought the writers sort of did it in her perspective in terms of making Lee Joon-Gi like the audience, what you were just saying, like the audience not really trusting the guy, not knowing. I remember thinking, oh, they're kind of writing it from her perspective. Like, she doesn't know whether to trust him. She's starting to notice his facade crumble a little bit, that type of thing, whereas the audience are noticing the same thing. I don't remember that I found her annoying. I kind of like, I like that she was like a badass cop, but I'm also very partial for female cops.
Yeah.
I love when female cops, and I also think I liked her in terms of she was a wife, she was a mother, she kind of had it all and could do it all.
Yeah, she's super mom.
Yeah, super mom. And I liked seeing the turmoil within herself of like her realizing that the crime she's investigating, her husband could potentially have been the criminal, and her having to deal with those emotions and trying to figure out what to do next. I thought that was a very interesting dilemma to have. And to try to figure out.
I agree.
I could see why you thought she was annoying. I mean, I wouldn't say. I think I did find her annoying in some certain scenes and some, like, especially if like her reaction to something. But I think overall, I didn't end up finding her annoying.
I think it had to do with towards the later episodes. She's crying a lot, and she doesn't.
She is.
I think I have an issue when people, this is very specific, but you have these beautiful people and they start crying and they look great crying, fine. She looks like she's not even crying. She cries without moving her face. And it's kind of like, I don't know how many actors can do this where they just cry with like a straight face. And she is one of those actresses that can just, like, a lot of tears, a lot of waterworks. She's not moving a muscle. She looks very angelic and serene. And that sort of thing really bothers me. It is such a niche thing. I don't know if anybody else feels this way, but maybe that's why I found Moon Chae-Won a little bit annoying towards the end. But I agree with you that she had a wonderful, very entertaining journey, and that she was acting very well through this internal struggle and questioning everything herself, her life, her husband, her job, her coworkers. Everything is up for debate. Everything is being stress tested in her life. And it is quite interesting to see where they come out on towards the later episodes and what she resolves within herself and in the relationship with Lee Joon-Gi's character. I think the show had a lot to do with what is the role that DNA plays on mental illness and disorders, and what is identity can you rise above pain and trauma and family legacy? What is your true self? Like, how do you find your true self? And, you know, how do you stay true to yourself in the midst of all of this pain and things that are out of your control? So many characters were asking towards the end, why is this? I don't understand why this is happening to me. And I feel like every one of us has a moment in our lives where we say the same thing, like, I didn't do anything for this to happen to me. So why is this happening to me? And these kind of questions are really profound, even if the Flower of Evil plot is extremely grandiose and very complicated and K-drama-y. It's intense.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, I feel like these are just people and they're going through extraordinary things, and you feel for them, and you just empathize with them a lot, especially towards the end when they're feeling sorry for themselves and they're asking those questions. Like, why is this? I don't understand. Why is this happening to me? And I feel like these are all really important things to discuss and talk about, and have these themes crop up in a K-drama that is really kind of a melodrama. I kind of didn't find it so much a criminal drama as much as it was like a traditional K-drama melodrama.
Oh yeah, I mean, a huge part of this drama was about their relationship and how they were going to weather this humongous conflict between the two of them, essentially.
Yeah.
And what was going to play out. I mean, yes, it was a crime drama, but yes, I totally agree. It was a very much of a melodrama, somewhat romantic drama at the same time.
Yes. Last thing I want to mention is, like, what did you think of the kid, their child?
I thought she was adorable. I thought she was adorable.
Isn't she the cutest thing you've ever seen?
Yes.
Oh my god. Lee Joon-Gi with a child actor and bouncing off who's supposed to be his daughter in the drama is probably the most adorable thing. Like, you're just like, my ovaries are gonna explode, that kind of thing. Like, I didn't know I needed this, but apparently I do need this. And it is really something to see. I think that more dramas should employ child actors, and you know, we've had some good ones on the show that we've covered for Daebak, like Pilgu from When the Camellia Blooms is like a really good child actor. You're like, oh my god, I love this kid, I feel so bad for him. And just like in the grand tradition of like wonderful child actors in K-dramas, this little girl did really well as well. I think she was a good addition. And a whole new like level to their relationship as well, that I almost feel like towards the end she's kind of taken out of the equation.
She is.
And we can talk about that some more, but in the spoiler section. But I'm going to go ahead and ask you, what would you rate Flower of Evil out of 5 soju bottles?
I would say 4.5.
Okay, wow.
Because again, the end of 15, start of 16 threw me for a loop and like really affected my watching, but I grew used to it by the end of the show, but I think that really affected my rating for this drama. So I would say 4.5. Yeah.
I think I would give it a 3.5, maybe 4 on a good day. I am still really close to the drama. I'm not that far removed from it. Maybe in a week it'll be 3. Maybe in a week it'll be 4.5. I don't know. But right now I'm just kind of sitting in the middle. It was entertaining for sure. Would I watch it again? I don't think so.
Okay.
And that I think affects my rating a lot, is rewatchability, even though like I don't know why I even think that way, because I don't end up rewatching K-dramas almost ever. Like
I don't either.
Earlier when I was first watching K-dramas,
I think I can count on one hand how many dramas I've rewatched.
Same. I used to rewatch K-dramas when I was early in my K-drama career. Now I don't do it ever. I just move on to the next K-drama. So I feel bad basing a lot of my score on rewatchability, but there it is. Anyway, I think we're going to get started on the spoilers. So stick around if you've watched Flower of Evil. We're going to do spoilers right after this.
Hey, you want to come in?
All right, we're on the other side of spoilers. So, Caitlin, where do you want to start for spoilers? I think you kept alluding to like episode 15, 16 and the ending. So I don't mind starting at the end and like kind of working our way back through the drama. What had happened was in episode 15, we get head trauma. He gets shot. Mm-hmm. And Lee Joon-Gi's character has amnesia.
Yes.
That he basically wakes up after a month of being in a coma. And he is in a frame of mind in 2005. He thinks it's 2005. He has no recollection of the past 15 years, has no recollection of Moon Chae-Won's character, his wife, his daughter, none of the drama that they just went through with the serial killers and the accomplice and the father and all this stuff. So yes. What do I even say to that? It was 2005, like I said before we broke for spoilers. Did I think they were going to do amnesia in the show? No. If you had interviewed me at the end of episode 14, I would have been like, what do you mean they're going to do amnesia? They would never do that. No, they did it. And they stuck it. Like they kept with it. It wasn't like, oh, I don't even know. Like
he's faking it or faking something. It. Yeah.
Yes, because he can fake so many things. He did not fake his amnesia.
Right.
It was real. What did you think of it? Where did you land at the end? You said you kind of were in a place of acceptance in the final sequence.
I was so mad when it happened. I like remember vividly being like, "Oh, come on, show." I literally said that. Because I mean, and I usually, as I said earlier, I usually love this trope. I love when they stick amnesia into dramas. Mm-hmm. I find it either hilarious or I'm like, yes, more amnesia. Like, I love makjangs where there's like 6 characters that have amnesia in the 100 episodes. Like, I usually love it, but I remember absolutely hating this decision to put this in here. Because I don't know if I would have had an issue with it if it happened earlier, like episode 13 or 14, but I think I was a little angry because it happened going into episode 16. So I was like, how are they going to end this drama when he has amnesia? Like, is he just going to have amnesia and that's going to be the end? Like, I didn't understand. So I think what I really was mad about was like the placement of the amnesia.
Okay.
And like, because I felt like, well, it's a cop-out. They don't know what else to do because they've kind of wrapped up everything to an extent.
Right.
By the end of 15. And so instead of showing this happy family, they're going to put one last twist into it and whatever. So I remember hating that decision. But then by the end, like, we did get that reunion, like the really cute scene where he was at his daughter's school.
Okay, so I'll jump in here. I thought that I was stunned, and then I thought it was extremely cheap of them to have him have amnesia. And then they kept reiterating his diagnosis was perfectly normal. He should be healed up. He should be awake by now. He shouldn't be in a coma and all this stuff. He wakes up 15 years gone for some reason. There was no sign of brain trauma, no sign that he would have amnesia, no reason for it. He just woke up 15 years in the past. And I think a lot of if you can say that the amnesia was sold to me, was that a lot of characters were saying that they couldn't quite wrap their head around his personality now, and how it seemed like he was a different but the same, kind of a meshing between his old personality, and when I say old, I just mean his teenage personality, and then who he came to be towards the end of the fiasco is all I can say, because he was very emotional, manic, you could almost say, and in love with his wife, like ultimately accepted that he had feelings for his wife, was deeply in love with her, and wanted to fix the situation and come out on top. Now he's kind of devoid of all the feelings toward his wife, but is still kind of back in those old rhythms of antisocial personality disorder,
Right.
Which is very common in K-drama. That's also a very common K-drama trope, to have a character that's has a disorder.
Well, I think
like this.
I think what irked me too was like they kind of just reset the whole story again. They reset him back to the beginning and him trying to figure out like
right. What are his feelings?
Who he was, what his emotions were now, dealing with everything being revealed yet again. Like, and granted, it wasn't like the things being revealed going at the beginning of drama were not the same things being revealed now, but like, I just thought I didn't think that was needed. I didn't think that was like, it would be different if it was like, episode 13 or 14 and he had to like rediscover his love again. But it's like, it's episode 16. You have like 45, 50 minutes to do that? Like, are you serious?
Right. I
mean,
you know, there's a moment where they had this conversation in the car between the both of them, husband and wife, and he's telling her about how he knows how to cook dishes he's never eaten before and how he's got all this talent for metalworking that comes out, and he doesn't know like where the talent kind of came from, where this experience came from. He doesn't remember doing all of this stuff. And he admits that he's this master manipulator and he knows what she wants to hear, even though he doesn't really know her. And it's kind of interesting to see him work his magic. I kind of wanted him to say that he's still faking it, but at the end, he wasn't like faking the crying in the car, the waterworks, this whole like emotional display, like that was real.
Right. And I think that's what made like this whole concept of him relearning his emotions too, going back to this was a more well-rounded role for Lee Joon-Gi to play. Like, I don't remember any of his previous roles. Like he cried in previous roles and whatever, but like being this emotional and this distraught and this kind of manic in certain scenes overall, I had never seen him act like that before. So I think that was another reason why I loved his performance in this drama.
Well, I did like that scene, and especially because you're talking about he doesn't remember this 15-year journey, this emotional journey that he's been on, and he doesn't have the memories to back this up. So, you know, he was saying whatever love or feelings that he has, he doesn't know how long they'll last because he's not who he used to be. And I like this analogy that he gave, is that he feels like they're shackled and running in circles and that she's just chasing him this entire time. And I have in my notes so much crying.
He cried a lot in the last couple episodes. He cried a lot,
and she cries too. They all did. Like, the last couple of episodes were just, I mean, chewing up scenery. They were really just crying all the time. And I like that he is, I don't know if they gave it enough time, but, you know, he's saying that he doesn't know why he feels a certain way and he doesn't know how to label things. And he comes home and the journalist Minsu confronts him about the excessive amount of egg tarts that are in the fridge. And he's just like, I can't help but buying them. Every time I see the egg tarts, I have to buy them. He has no idea that it's because of his daughter, that he would always buy his daughter egg tarts. That was her thing. So it's very sad and kind of manufactured, I think is what I want to say. It's kind of like the end of a Pixar movie where you're just like, oh my God, assaulted by feelings. And because of the amnesia and the further journey that he has to go on, it feels very manipulative and not in an earned way. Because had they had this sort of like moment of catharsis when he was himself after all of this struggle and strife that they had been through, and maybe he wakes up from his coma and he's like ready to kind of talk it out with his wife and restart their relationship instead of literally restarting their entire relationship because of the amnesia, that would be a different story. But instead, they have him just kind of stumbling around his feelings, and it's annoying because you have these emotional touch points like the egg tart. You have the rings that he can't seem to take off his wedding ring because he feels incomplete without it, and that he says he keeps hurting himself while he's metalworking if he doesn't have the ring on. So it's like he has these tokens, but he doesn't know what they mean, and it's kind of just very 2005 K-drama. Like, what can I say?
Right.
Yeah. So I found that annoying, but also like good in a kind of shallow way. It was good. The final sequence of him going to the house, because of course she's putting it up for sale. She's going to move away to Busan. And he's like reading the notes, these notebooks of just notes on her. Like, she loves the rain. She doesn't like this. She loves moths. She loves butterflies but hates moths. Like, things like that were written in these journals that, you know, he's kind of more attached to now. He's reading it and she's like, you can't have that because, you know, it's about me and you don't want anything to do with me, evidently. And, you know, she tells him she's moving away. He's like, why would you leave when I'm finally taking my first step toward you? And again, like, how did he come to that conclusion? Like, I don't know if it was just he can't live without her. They have to learn to love each other all over again. Like, what? I don't know. They go to the school.
Well, I think that was the thing. I think the cat, that was the... I think he couldn't figure out who he really wanted to be or who he was and what he had dealt with, not only within the last 15 years that he lost, but within the last year or so, however long the drama actually takes place, without her being there. Like, she was a very big reason on helping him find his memories again, find whether that was good or bad. And so he needed her there. He needed some type of anchor, and that she was the anchor.
Yeah, that's a great point. That she was this steady presence in his life for 15 years, and she basically taught him everything that he needed to know about emotions in life and living to the fullest and appreciating the little things in life. And I kind of think you're right that he kind of just goes back to her and he's like, I think I need you. I think I'm curious now about that guy that is missing, like that guy that I used to be. We should find him together, I think is what he tells her, which is a nice thought. I don't know. I'm still like really upset, I guess, about the amnesia.
Again, it was not my favorite decision either. It was a cop-out. It was something that the writers, in my opinion, it was something that the writers basically did not know what to do with episode 16. So they wanted to create one final twist in order to I know. Like, keep people invested, even though it was the last episode.
Right.
Yeah, I also did not like the decision, but...
Yeah. All right. Well, we might circle back to the ending, but I feel like we kind of talked about the amnesia enough. Episode 1 was a good episode because it ends with him kidnapping the journalist, Moojin. Which is when people were like, oh my God, what? Lee Joon-Gi is the kidnapper and he's very creepy and he's got the serial killer plastic on the ground and he's saying really creepy things and you're just like, oh my God, what does he have to do with the serial killer case in Yeonju? And it's just very sus. Like, he's just so sus in episode 1. Yeah. But episode 1 also has these moments between him and his wife where you're like, oh my God, they're so in love. Yeah. And that's something else that I don't think we should just gloss over, is that utopia that he built for their family is just that, like a utopia. You kind of get the sense that something's wrong, even though you see that everything is right. And, you know, they're seen making out and having sex in the morning, things like that. The coworkers that she comes in contact with that day are like, you guys are still in the honeymoon period and it's been like 10 years since you've been married. Isn't that crazy? That's so weird. And she's like, ha ha ha, is my life great? And you're like, girl, what is there's something wrong here, because after 10 years of marriage, a lot of stuff is going to start to fade, and sort of that high of the honeymoon period should be well and worn by now. And so I think that it's kind of interesting from a K-drama perspective to see a 10-year marriage and see it going really well and realize that it's not right. Because usually K-dramas end at the marriage, like when at the wedding, they start their life together officially. And you don't see this 10 years down the line or 15 years down the line, what the couple looks like. And here we see them 10 years in, and all hell's about to break loose in their lives. So I think it is a little bit kind of subverting expectations. And then throughout the show, we see flashbacks of their courtship and really her kind of chasing him and being very proactive about her feelings and kind of confronting him about his feelings a lot of the time. She's the one that I think confesses to him. It's like gender reversals for a lot of the tropes in K-drama. So very interesting writing, especially for their relationship, I would say.
Right. And I think also it's like, so going back to the example of him looking in the mirror and practicing, like I imagined he had been doing that for 10 years to keep up the facade, to keep up this happy marriage. Like he had to work, and he had to work for 10 years to keep that up.
I like that.
So
angle.
I think as you said, like it's creepy in a way because it's so perfect, and that's kind of of his doing. Like he wanted to make it as perfect as possible, so his wife, who's a cop, could not see potentially what could, like, between the lines. Like she had no idea if there was something there or not. So when it starts to crumble, when she starts to investigate this case, there's only so much like you can do and how long you can keep that up. And I think that's why it started 10 years into their marriage, because something was going to break at some point, and that was just the catalyst. But that brought on a sense of creepiness for the entire show, because again, he had to keep that up for 10 years.
Right. The kids. Oh, so let's talk about the, I guess, portrayal of antisocial personality disorder, especially when it pertains to his childhood and the flashbacks that we see of him in his hometown, and how the townspeople thought he was possessed because they just had no frame of reference for his condition.
Also, the kid that played him, the actor, I remember the first time seeing him on screen, I was like, is that him? Like, he looks so much like him at a younger age.
Yeah, he has very angular features, just like Lee Joon-Gi. And yeah, that kid looked very similar to Lee Joon-Gi. I will admit that. Yeah.
Sometimes they find such good casting with the younger and older counterparts in these things.
I agree. Yeah, so this town was awful. Just straight up terrible. They were like kidnapping him to do exorcisms on him every few days or something. It was absolutely wild. And I think I could be wrong. I could be reading too much into this, but this could be almost the writer and the showrunners kind of calling Korean society like backwoods, like Stone Age level thinking, and like really out of touch, and you know, all these negative things. I feel like they were trying to portray them as really ignorant toward mental illness and mental disorders. I
think you get a sense of that. I mean, we've seen that in other dramas.
Absolutely.
We've seen that thing where if anything seems to be off about somebody, whether female, male, they're kind of shunned from a society. In some terms, they did exactly what they did to Lee Joon-Gi's character, where They bring in an exorcist. Like, we see that even in America. Like, in some, like, people think, like, religious people sometimes think they're I want to say, like, children, but, like, people who are different, they shun, like, society. It's different. They are not of the norm. So, like, the demonic possession, I think you've seen in all of the religions, real cases of it all over the world, and it's sad. It's very sad, and I think we have seen this in other dramas. We've seen this in other movies, in other countries too, in other shows, and it's a sad occurrence that happens in real life when someone does not go with the norm, and whether they are purposely not going with the norm and they need to be put into place, or they're just different and they don't know why. In this case, that's the case where he's just different and they don't understand it. They don't want to understand it.
Right.
And they want to put up the facade that they have a perfect community and he's the sore thumb. Like, he's the one that stands out. And they can't really do anything about it. So they try to exorcise it from him.
It's quite maddening, I think, especially for the audience, because obviously we can't do anything but watch this mayhem happen and this great injustice happen to this kid and see how it kind of wrecks him in the flashbacks, where to the point where he's like, maybe I am possessed. And he thinks that maybe he is a monster, and he starts seeing his father as this crazy apparition and just hallucinates his father, or I don't know if it's a delusion at that point. It's just crazy how it's the townsfolk that kind of drive him further into, like, just being really messed up. And perhaps he was kind of a very passive, antisocial person with the disorder, and then he kind of got worse maybe after this terrible exorcisms every 3 days. I mean, who's to say? I think it would have wrecked with even a perfectly sane person. So it is very sad to see how it was the people around him that kind of drove him to the edge, and to make that decision to take the blame for the death of the foreman and things like that. He was like, why would they believe us when we say that it was in self-defense or something, that my sister did this in self-defense? They would never believe us. Our father is a known serial killer, and they think I'm possessed. Yeah. Why would they? Because I
think the big thing was, like, I think there was a lot of things going against him, even if it was just him being antisocial and him being weird. That was enough for this, but then you add on the family history and the known serial killer. So then they automatically think, well, he must have inherited it. So he's going to be a bad apple too. Like, it doesn't fall far from the tree type thing. And again, we see this type of thing in other dramas, especially when if, like, a parent or, like, you're related to something bad, you end up going to be bad. It's a common crime trope. But that, I think the reason why it's common is because it's compelling. Like, you always root for the guy to not be like the father, to not be like how society views him. Right. And so, the cards were already stacked against him, and it was just made worse by just a natural personality that he was born with.
Right. And I gotta be honest, thinking about it from a Western perspective, I would never in a million years think that a serial killer's son or daughter would also turn out to be a serial killer. That makes no sense in my mind. And in fact, I guess the algorithm on TikTok, like, knew that I was watching Flower of Evil, and I was maybe talking about serial killers a little bit and out loud. And so it brought up this video of this serial killer's daughter. And she was like, I'm the daughter of a serial killer, so-and-so, and I'm going to read this letter that my father sent me from jail because he's currently serving, like, I don't know how many life sentences for his killings. And it was this, like, wild letter that she read aloud saying that he was innocent, saying like that she was a whore because he found this photo of her on her wedding day. Obviously, he was in the penitentiary. He couldn't go. She never invited him, never told him anything. And she got this crazy letter from her dad, like just kind of berating her and very manic. And I found that so interesting to see this person kind of open up on social media of all places about this crazy experience that she had and how it affects her and how she's kind of like a life coach or something now. And I was like, that is a really tough job to kind of coach people through very similar circumstances as her own. And again, not that every person who is the son or daughter of a murderer is gonna be a life coach later on in their lives, but you know, it is just interesting to see that the siblings in this are really just fucked because of the serial killer that they had for a father. And at the end of the show, they're both like, we don't really know who we are. Like, we don't know who our true selves are. So we should find out. Like, we should find out who we really are, what we want to do, what makes us happy, and just stick with that and forget all the rest of it, move past this. And I was like, damn, after 20 years, now they're finally going to get started on forgiving themselves and letting go of all of this trauma that has haunted them for all this time.
Right.
Which is another very sad and interesting part of the show, is these two and their dynamic and how they move forward at the end. I think the other side of the spectrum, I guess, is the parents of the accomplice serial killer.
Right.
Who, you know, we get confirmation in episode 3 that Hyun-Soo's parents are not his real parents. He assumed this identity after getting run over by the car at night. He was robbed in the rain, all this shit. And the real son was comatose in a hidden closet in the surgeon's
That reveal
house.
was epic. Epic. I loved every second of it.
Yo, that was episode 3, bro. That was early. And that was a really good reveal. I thoroughly enjoyed that.
And now you know why nothing was revealed about his character. So it was like, because you can't really say much about his character without spoilers. So
yes, because the guy that's in the coma is Kim Dune, and he's the real Becky Sung. And like, this comes back to bite them in a major way because these parents have all of these altercations, have all of this like really vague conversations between them. The surgeon is holding his wife kind of emotionally hostage, and
they're horrible.
Horrible.
They are horrible people. They're
horrible to each other. There's this conversation that they have that I want to touch on. They have this argument at the house in episode 9 while the granddaughter is home. And you know, Dr. Beck is constantly guilting his wife for feeling good because of whatever she did to their son. It's not disclosed at this point what she did to their son, who's comatose, to make him a vegetable. So, and then she says it's nice to smell good food again in the house because they don't cook at the house, which is a huge red flag in Korean culture, that they don't cook at home and that they don't sit together and have dinners as families and shit. And he tries to gaslight her, saying, your depression is flaring up again. You should go to the hospital. And no doubt he's just trying to medicate her into submission. And she's very combative here, saying that he's the one who should feel guilty because basically he kept their son barely breathing for himself, not for the benefit of their son, that he wasn't there for any major accomplishment in his life, and that she just wants to live like everyone else, you know, and that if their son could talk, their son would ask that they kill him, and then he slaps her.
Right.
And that was like a kind of, you know, writing on the wall for me for these two. Well, I know it's kind of late in episode 9 because they were sketched throughout the show, but they are just so not redeemable. They are so far gone as parents and as a couple. They are just barely hanging on. And more the mom is just so neurotic and very emotional. She's constantly having outbursts. And I think I thought for the majority of the show that the husband was the serial killer's accomplice and that he was like the baby serial killer in this scenario. And the reveal that it's actually the son was very surprising to me. I didn't think they were going to go that route at all.
Exactly. Yeah.
What did you think of that?
It was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
The reveal, like, was like you just, I definitely never thought that was going to happen. I thought it was interesting too because it wasn't only just Lee Joon-Gi's character that is keeping up a facade and keeping secrets and whatever. It turned out like his entire family was quotes, air quotes, family. His sister was like, there was a ton of people, whether covering for him or not, were keeping up a facade and keeping secrets, which I thought was an interesting theme throughout this drama as a whole, because there was a ton of characters doing the same thing for various reasons. But yeah, I absolutely love Kim Ji-hoon's reveal in this. And like, he was chef kiss villain in this drama. Like, I loved him in this drama.
He was a very juicy villain when he got going. Because I think it wasn't until way later that they reveal, and it's the sister, right? I think it's Lee Joon-Gi's sister, that character played by Jang Hee-jin. So she plays Do-Hye-soo, the sister. Do-Hye-soo, she shows up at the doc's house and says, "Oh, I need all this info from you about the volunteers at your hospital because I had this, I went under hypnosis and I remembered that there was like a green bracelet that he was wearing, whatever." Right. And the mom is very nervous. And she asked her, the very last thing that she asked her, is there anything else that you noticed about the accomplice? And she said, well, the fingernails on his left hand were all nubbed up because it looked like he was a nail biter, but just his left hand. And they show this fucking dude in his wheelchair in the next room biting his nails, his left hand nails. And then he looks at his nails and suddenly you see all these flashbacks on the screen of him in those scenarios as the accomplice.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Then you have that great reveal where he like all of a sudden gets up walking. Like,
oh my God, that was another one.
So good. Like,
I almost think that was a better reveal. Was him being able to walk.
Like,
which is
the
such
darkness
bullshit.
of the house, the lightning, him going around the house, like stalking these people, and then you have like the digging in the backyard. Like,
the digging in the backyard was very. Let's talk about this. So that one was really the icing on the cake to me, because he goes the real scene. This is episode 12, I think. The rainy night of him trying to bury Hyun-soo in the front yard or backyard or something after he ran him over. The mom has just found his box of souvenirs with all of these nails lined up in perfect rows. Yep. And she found it under his mattress. You're joking, right? Like, there's not a better place that he would hide that. It was just under his mattress like a fucking porn stash. And then she walks outside carrying the murder weapon that she found in the souvenir box, sees him burying some body in the backyard, and he's just like, hey, you weren't supposed to be home.
Right.
Like, period. Yeah. Like, no explanation.
Yeah. And
he's
another guy that played creepy really well. Like, just really well. And again, it was a character I had never seen Kim Ji-hoon play. Never seen this side of his acting. Yeah. Which was awesome. Because, again,
I had issues
another
with it.
role. It was another role that, like, kind of, again, showed range, showed a different side.
Okay, so I had issues with him. First of all, him burying the body in the front backyard, whatever it was, which was in a shallow grave.
That's a trope, though, of a crime thing.
I was literally like, this is the sloppiest fucking serial killer accomplice I've ever seen. And then she's like, what? You're burying him here? And he's like, where else did you think I was going to put him? And I'm like,
I think that was a thing of his character, though. He didn't think he was ever going to get caught. Because, one, he had all those souvenirs. He had been killing people for how many years at that point? His parents had this facade of being the perfect family, perfect whatever. They were never going to give him up for that. Like, even when he did end up in the coma, they got a new son. Like, they were never going to reveal those secrets. So, I think he knew that. He knew that he could do basically whatever he wanted.
Right.
Because, one, his parents were scared of him. Yeah. Absolutely terrified of him. So they weren't ever going to confront him about it or do anything. But then they were also
allowing themselves to be manipulated by him because he was like, Oma, Appa, like doing the whole like sob story, like, you're going to protect me, right? Saying really manipulative things to them. And they're like, I guess.
I think it was a combination of fear, but also they didn't want to give up what they had built themselves. I think and I think he rode that out. He didn't want to, he didn't care because he had no empathy, but knew he was never going to get caught unless something happened in terms of the lives crumbling, which obviously it happens in this drama. But
so my other issue with him is just a very nitpicky thing. Every time he was acting crazy, he had wonderful crazy eyes, but then he would open his mouth a lot. Like he would just like drop his mouth. Why is your mouth open? Like, that was very confusing to me, that choice. To just open his mouth with the crazy eyes. I was like, what is he waiting for here? It just looked a little weird.
Okay.
I have a question for you because I don't know what I'm supposed to take away here. So the serial killer dad died 20 years ago. Or he was killed 20 years ago. So then only 3 years ago, the serial killer accomplice, our boy, ended up in a coma. So what happened for 17 years? Does that make sense?
Yeah. I'm trying to remember. I think the conclusion, I think he took over the killing. I think that was the conclusion we came to.
So there's more bodies, but then why did he totally forget about the last victim, Min-suk, who was alive in some asylum that the trafficker was paying for? Then that was what the catalyst was for him running over Lee Joon-Gi. You know, you see where I'm saying? Like, there's a gap of 17 years here. Then all of a sudden the trafficker is like, yeah, I got this girl, this like victim that you never finished off killing. And he was going to go pick her up from the trafficker, runs over Lee Joon-Gi's character, ends up in a coma. And then now we're dealing with the after effects 3 years later. But I'm confused why he never went back for the victim in 17 years.
Well, I mean, he ended up in the coma. He couldn't. That was one.
No, but the coma was only for 3 years. Oh my God, no. What am I talking about?
I don't think so.
The coma. So hold on.
Because, okay, so him burying the body was when he hit the car. That was him driving back.
I got you. No.
Or totally going wrong. To see the girl.
I am totally wrong, because why would the coma only last 3 years? That doesn't make any sense. Because Hyun-soo was Hee-sung for like 14 years.
Right. So he was, when he hit Lee Joon-gi's character, he was going to.
So the 3 years.
So he had the body in the trunk, right?
Okay, no. So I got it backwards because it was 20 years ago, the dad died, the serial killer dad died. Then 3 years later, he's dealing with the trafficker with the last victim. Right. And then the guy gets run over, and then he gets in a coma for the next 14 years.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I had it totally backwards. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. Okay, sorry.
So he had that body in the trunk when he hit him. So that was another thing. If I remember correctly, he had a body in the trunk too.
What?
I think so. Or maybe it was Lee Joon-gi that he put in the trunk.
No. The body that was in the trunk. So I'll answer this one. The body that was in the trunk was the housekeeper that they murdered, like in the last few episodes. The mute, deaf housekeeper.
Oh yeah, because she found out.
She found out, and she was like, "I'm gonna tell on you guys if you don't pay me off," and then they killed her.
Right. Yeah.
And then they framed Hyun-soo for it.
Right.
And that was like a whole nother thing in the final few episodes.
Right.
Oh man, so much happened. But yeah, sorry, I don't know what I was thinking for that 3 years thing.
So because that's why there was a cold period in those murders, and then the whole reason why his wife started investigating the murders is because a new body showed up.
Okay, that makes sense. Man, and I had it too. I figured it out myself. Damn. Okay. I like the flashback of them on their first date, like going back to the couple, which is early, like in episode 4. She says that everyone thinks they're already dating, and then he protests. He's like, "No, I'm not interested in you." And she counters with, "Then why do you spend time with me on your day off?" And they play rock, paper, scissors. Loser stands in the rain. She pushes him into the rain, and she starts giggling and like laughing. And he finds himself smiling back for whatever reason. And I just found that very, very cute, that interaction and his growing feelings for her, whether he realizes that they're growing feelings or not. I was a little bit taken aback by a lot of times he was turning around to see the apparition of his father with the eyes completely black staring at him from across the street or from wherever. And I couldn't get a handle on it. I was like, is it the physical manifestation of his guilt or just a feeling that he doesn't deserve to be happy with a family history like that? Or is he just haunted by like his serial killer father who he was afraid of?
Right.
I couldn't figure it out. It ended up being that he kind of got with her because she banished the apparition of his father.
Right. Yeah.
So, like, what do you make of that?
I think it was a combination of everything that you just described. Like,
okay.
He was never going to be able to get away from that, whether the man was alive or dead. He was guilty about it. That was going to follow him for the rest of his life. And for whatever reason, Moo-chae could give him peace, at least for a little bit, from whatever that was haunting him. And so I think it was somewhat of a, like, actually happening to his character where he was seeing this guy. He was a little crazy. He was being haunted, whether it was a hallucination or not, but his father, but also it was kind of a metaphor of his wife meeting her, but also needing her in a way to be the anchor for reality and be able to live at least a normal life and get away from his past and his history. I think it was kind of both. It was his own character, but also a metaphor at the same time.
Nice. I have in my notes, and I don't know who wrote this, but I guess it was me. She was the first person who believed in him and saw the best in him, loved him for all that he was and could be. She got rid of his dad lingering around him and allowed him to get some sort of closure, which is kind of what you said too about finding some measure of peace, which is really important for, I mean, anybody, let alone this guy who's just been through so much. Yeah, I think there was a lot of K-drama-isms that kind of irked me throughout the show. Like in episode 7, you have this wonderful couple and she's struggling so much with her feelings for him, if she hates him, if she loves him, whatever. And she takes him back to his father's metalworking shop back in their hometown to try and find some of Hyun-soo's metalworking. That was the excuse. Right. And they end up back in the basement where the murders happened. Yeah. And she plays the cassette that supposedly triggers Hyun-soo's manic episodes, according to the child psychologist. And he has a full-on panic attack. He's constantly having panic attacks throughout the show.
Yes. Yeah.
And stuff like that was a little bit annoying to me because it just felt like this is pure like K-drama, because I don't feel like that's necessarily believable for her to like go out to the middle of nowhere. No one knows where they are. And she has suspicions of her husband being a murderer and still puts herself in this really compromising situation, knowing better as a detective. Right. And it's just like kind of all of these things just didn't match the way that her character was kind of smarter than that. I guess she was counting on her husband not being a murderer, which he wasn't, but I guess not retaliating in any sort of way for putting him in a situation that's very uncomfortable for anybody. Let's consider that maybe he's just a normal guy and you take him back to the scene of his father's murders. Like,
right.
It was just so problematic to me. I don't know.
I think at that point she was also so desperate to get answers, though, and
yeah,
she was willing to do anything to trigger it.
I see.
I mean, it to some extent he didn't know either. So like it was both her trying to figure this out and trying to figure out if he was a killer or if he had killed anybody in the past, but also having to deal with the fact that he didn't really know. Like he had been living this facade for so long that he kind of pushed stuff out of his mind, and you didn't really know what he was dealing with or what he was discovering again was real or not. So I think it was more of it was to kind of move the plot forward, but I think it was also out of like desperation. Like she didn't really know what to do and couldn't really discover any more clues or anything. So this was the way this was the way to hopefully move things forward and get some answers that they both clearly wanted.
I liked the not confrontation, but the argument that they have in episode 9 a lot better, because here she's kind of resolved out of spite to keep him in this identity.
Right.
And she tells him finally that her feelings have changed, that, you know, if she started loving him for no reason, then she can stop for no reason at all. And that she knows her feelings best, not him, which is a particular jab because he was reading her moods and wants and needs for years.
Right.
And she says that she hates him. And he's like, why? Why do you hate me? If you hate me, why are you crying? Is I think what he says. And she says, oh, because she can't say everything she wants to say. And she vows that she's going to leave him. They're going to break up. It's a breakup conversation. And she tries to just kind of leave and say, I'm going to work on this reopened case. And he like walks into the room and he's like, we're not done here. Like we need to talk this out. And she realizes that she feels extreme empathy for the victims of the Yeonju serial killings now because she's untethered from him. And then she realizes that she could get through all of these horrible things that she's witnessed as a detective because he made her life so wonderful at home. And she says, like, it was you. Like, you're the reason why I could have done this job forever. And I found that really profound. I like these kind of more real moments because I feel like this was way more grounded to have them washing dishes and then just her kind of overcome and say, you know, I want to break up. I hate you. And have all of these feelings bubble up within her. And he's, of course, really affected. You know, no matter what he says, like, I don't love her, swearing that he doesn't love her and all this stuff, that he's never loved her, and that he's kind of just with her to keep tabs on the situation and manipulate things when he needs to. The reaction to something like this was very telling because he's like frantic. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't want to be without her. And you see that he is extremely attached to her at the very least. And you just know inherently that he loves her, even though he doesn't realize it. Yeah. Yeah. So I like that scene.
And again,
way
I
better.
think that also speaks to he was also at a point where like he didn't know what he would do without, again, the anger and how much more he would spiral out of control if she wasn't there. So I think that was also part of the desperation in that argument.
Yeah, definitely desperation. Then he calls a meeting the next day with like the journalist Moojin and his sister about the marriage fight that he had. Right. And they're like, Moojin is basically like, he crudely says, oh, you should just win her back by getting her gifts and, just tell her you love her and stuff, and then she'll forgive you. And what he takes away is that he just needs to get her a gift that she really wants. And he goes, if I bring her the accomplice, she will be thrilled. That right. he says this with like a sinister smile on his face, and everyone in the room's a little bit like, ugh, because that's not the typical gift you give your wife when you have an argument. But he is, again, not necessarily looking at this the way that he should. But
right.
I like this response. It's so unusual for him to be like, oh, I'll get her the real serial killer accomplice, and then we can make up.
Right. Yeah.
Which is kind of like childish as well, like a very childish thought. A to B equals C or whatever. But the sister right. at this point she points out how much that he cares for Chae-Won. And he agrees like, oh yeah, she's very important to me. And the sister makes a distinction here. And she says, no, she's precious to you. What's important will eventually end up becoming less important after some time. But what's precious breaks your heart.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck, like the sister always coming in with these like one-liners.
Well, I think the thing too is, again, it's like he has always had to deal with trying to read people in terms of emotion, in terms of people's reactions, in terms of what is appropriate when dealing with society. And the sister hasn't. The sister never had to deal with what he had to deal with because she did not have the antisocial stuff.
Right.
And I think that's also telling of their relationship, is like they're very close. Granted, the wife doesn't know about the sister for a long time.
For a hell of a long time.
And I think in a way, the sister is like his human connection to society before he met the wife.
Right.
And so he has a very interesting relationship with her because she, as you just said, she has these one-liners that are like, no, you have to realize this is what this means, or no, this is your reaction you should have to this situation, so on and so forth type thing. And I think she was the wife's role before he met the wife.
Very, very good point. Yes, I agree with you. Real quick, let's talk about the sister now that we were already talking about her, because I found her grating towards the end because all she seemed to do was be the damsel in distress in too many situations, if you get my meaning, where she was just kind of like not like dead weight on the team, so to speak. And she was obviously going through a long season of depression in her life, and the interactions that she kept having with the journalist Moojin were so fucking annoying to me because he has literally when he broke up with her cruelly in the past and was like, oh yeah, you give me the creeps,
right,
and invoked the serial killer father and was just like the townsfolk in shunning them,
right,
that was a deep cut on her, and she keeps bringing it up to him and he's trying to get her to forget it.
Right.
And he doesn't quite understand like what she's going through ever, and he still insists on like cock blocking her every time she wants to do the right thing and say that she killed the foreman back in the day and absolve Hyun-soo of all blame, because he's continually taking the blame for her for that one murder. And every time he was like, oh yeah, you can't do this, stop crying. He was just very tone deaf when it came to her trauma. And even when he goes over to like see her house and the way she lives in the dark. She doesn't change the light bulb. She didn't know it was out. She just doesn't live a life in the light. And he he has good intentions by trying to fix her life, essentially, and like change the light bulb and bring her a new lamp so that she's not living in darkness. And it's like these are like superficial ways to fix depression, if you get my meaning. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If you can even fix her depression.
Right.
And it felt very childish for him to kind of, it's like someone's like, I have no money to buy food. And he's like, okay, I'll get you like a McDonald's for one meal. And it's like, okay, that's not going to fix the issue.
Right.
In fact, did you even hear what I said?
Right.
So I was very unsympathetic toward his puppy love that he had toward the sister, and honestly couldn't fathom how he could still love her after 20 years. That was like an issue to me too. That like, of course he's still in love with her after 20 yeism. It's like another K-drama-ism.
Right.
Yeah, she was like, "How? Okay, it's been 20 years. Get over it." And I'm like, "Yes, preach, girl. Like, tell him, get over it." So I feel like he was definitely at fault for so much of it, and threw a lot of stones at her, and like didn't acknowledge. He was like, "I'm not going to apologize for something that I did," and I was like, "You should. You should apologize to her."
Yeah, I mean, I think she was an interesting character because she lived with guilt herself. I mean, she lived with what she did to her brother. Like, her brother taking the blame for that affected his life for the rest of his life. And then she felt that guilt because they couldn't see each other for a very long time. She, like, somewhat got to live a more normal life than he did due to him taking the blame for it and whatever. So she already was kind of punishing herself for that.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. I didn't particularly like the reporter and how he went about the relationship and like whatever, but I think his role was also to show that, okay, enough was enough. Like, she was punishing herself for 14 years, 15 years. And I think he played well because the brother thought the same thing. The brother did not think it was warranted that she should punish herself for 16 years. She also agreed that she shouldn't go off running and putting herself in these situations, too. So I think he was trying to support Lee Joon-Gi's character's perspective, but also just trying to show that, girl, you punished yourself long enough. Like, everything's gonna come out. Everything's gonna change. You can't really stop it at this point. Stop blaming yourself.
There's a part of the journalist Minsu that he doesn't want to think that she can do anything bad as murdering somebody. And so every time she brings up the murder, he's kind of like, oh yeah, but it's, whatever. Like, he's kind of doesn't want to deal with it. And at one point towards the later episodes, she's set on going in and confessing to her crime. And he says that he'll only let her go if she feels guilty for killing the foreman. Then that's a different story. Then of course she can go confess to her crime. And she goes, guilty? Why would I feel guilty? And then she starts explaining that the foreman was the one that forced the brother to have the exorcisms every 3 days and inciting the village neighbors and messing up her brother in the head so that he started seeing all these phantasms of the father and believing he was a monster. And that essentially Minsu knows absolutely fucking nothing about the situation. So like, what say does he have? Nothing. He shouldn't have any say in what she does.
Yeah. I think that both of them, like both the sister and the brother want to protect each other.
Yeah.
For various reasons. And yeah, I agree with you. Yeah.
Yeah, I was very unsympathetic toward journalist Minsu.
Well, I think it was just I think it also came down, like, yes, he was needed for the plot and for that relationship with Lee Joon-Gi and all that stuff, but could the plot have been the same without him at the same time?
I think it was his characterization and the way that he was portrayed as this lovesick kind of dude who would do anything for the sister, really hated the brother, and was shoehorned into being a sidekick in this trio trying to solve this crime alongside the cops who were kind of running in opposite directions sometimes, both of these groups. And he didn't want to deal at all with Hyun-soo. He didn't like him at all. He didn't want to understand him at all. And in a sense, he didn't want to understand the sister either. He just wanted to put her on a pedestal and keep her like this perfect vision that he's had for 20 years. And nothing about her now and her persona now fit with his image of her, which was a problem to me. So it's like he didn't really want her. I hate to say this, but he just liked the idea of her.
Yeah, I would say I would agree with that. Yeah.
So it's not okay. I felt like that was not okay. So if they had written him a little bit different, I mean, I guess this is more interesting to talk about, but I don't like it at all. It just left a bad feeling in my mouth. Bad taste in my mouth. Bad feeling in my heart.
Right.
Because mouths don't have feelings. Okay. The caregiver's murder, they framed Hyun-soo. The wife goes to arrest Hyun-soo at their house. And I didn't understand this. This was like episode 13 or so. Because she all of a sudden does feel like she needs to bring him in. Why? Why is she now trusting all of their detective work will clear his name? It didn't make sense when she was really avoiding him going to confess his identity, going to confess any sort of crime, going in for questioning. She was like avoiding this at all costs. And now she's like, you got to come in and handcuffs him. And he has this horrible flashback of his father saying, love is a very sly feeling. It's really cunning. It gives you an illusion that it can solve everything, then leaves an acute sense of betrayal in the end. In time, if you feel the urge to trust someone, that means you're becoming weak. And he goes fucking off the rails. Like that's when he holds a knife to her throat and it's this whole thing. I think this was important that he asked her, do you even believe me that I didn't do this murder, that I'm not this murderer? And she's just like, what? And never says, no, I don't think that you did all this. I totally believe you. I'm on your side. And that's when he like really just loses it. And he's like, I'm never going to trust anyone again. And puts a knife to her throat. And it becomes this weird hostage situation where she like wants to go with him. And they end up at this hotel room to like call the trafficker and all this shit goes down. I wanted a little more that he stuck to his guns and was truly against her at that point. But that wasn't the case at all. It was just kind of for show, for the cameras and for the cops to believe that, you know, she was actually taken and all this shit. I wanted a little more stakes because it was just fleeting. Mm-hmm. I had a question, though, because they were in a hotel room. They left with nothing but the clothes on their back from the house. And they were handcuffed to each other. So how the hell did they get a laptop in there to record and take notes on the interaction they had with the trafficker on the phone? I was very confused by this.
This is you're talking about the sister in him? Or you're talking about the wife in him?
No, the wife and him end up at a hotel, and because they're handcuffed together by this time. Right. And they call the trafficker to try to set up a deal. And where do they get this? There's like suddenly they have a laptop. I I'm genuinely confused.
I don't remember.
Okay. It's okay. It's okay. Episode 15, we're getting to the end. Hyun-sung, I think is his name. The real villain. Yeah, Hee-sung, sorry. Hee-sung ends up back at the basement lair and he sniffs the air. Do you remember this? He sniffs the air and he's like he smells something good. And it's just dead body smell, like old blood stench in the basement. And everyone's commenting on, oh, it smells like heavily of blood in here. And it's really disgusting. He smells it and he's like, ooh, yeah. Good shit.
Right.
It's disgusting. It's awful. But the point where he tells him he killed his wife, I think is another pivotal moment because, you know, he's desperate. He calls the police station to confirm. This whole scene of him freaking out because he thinks that the serial killer accomplice killed his wife, killed Chae-Won, was very Romeo and Juliet because it was like a miscommunication. Obviously she's not dead. It's just a ruse. And he even had like a I defy you stars moment when he's crying and doubled over. Like he just resolves to kill him, to kill the guy, our boy,
to kill Kim Ji-hoon.
Thank you, Kim.
Like they
Ji-hoon.
had that epic fight in the basement. Yeah,
they had the fight in the basement. Then he gets out and starts chasing him through the woods,
right,
with a knife and slicing him up whenever he sees him,
right.
And one thing that I thought was weird was Kim Ji-hoon's character was like, "You crazy psycho," and I'm like, "What?" That's like the pot calling the kettle black. Like it's
right. But I mean, in all reality, Kim Ji-hoon never thought he was a psycho. He enjoyed
never thought he was like a psychopath.
He enjoyed, like, he just did not he thought he was untouchable.
Yeah.
And so the fact that Lee Joon-Gi is fighting back, is chasing him, is hurting him, is like not really having the upper hand, but like potentially having the upper hand, that never occurred to ever happen to him. Like he never thought that would happen.
Somewhere in between that he was like, I'm going to win no matter what, even if you become a killer just like your dad, and even if you leave me to enter the system and spend the rest of my life in prison, like I win. Somewhere inside that, and the caged last victim Min-suk actually begging our boy Lee Joon-Gi not to kill the serial killer.
Right.
To telling the OG serial killer to run because he was going to get slaughtered by this very upset husband.
Right.
Like somewhere inside there, I was like, this is weird. I mean, like what the victim is telling the guy to run, like the person that was going to kill her.
Yeah. I think it comes down to the fact that they didn't want Lee Joon-Gi to turn into the person everybody thought he was going to be.
Right.
I think he had fought for so long, 15 years or so, to not be the kid the village thought he was going to become, and not become his father, and not become everything people were saying he was going to. So to be in a moment where he potentially could do that and could kill somebody and could make what those predictions come to fruition, Kim Moon-jin did not want to see that in front of him. Like, did not want to see that happen. I think he could tell that Hyun-soo was like breaking. Like, he was desperate. And in that moment, that was the only way out for him. Like, he potentially had to kill this person who was trying to kill Moon-jin, which he obviously didn't want to happen, but also potentially trying to kill him. And I mean, I think I remember him threatening to go after his daughter and his wife too. Like,
Well, in that moment when he's like, oh yeah, gloating that he killed his wife,
right.
He says, I left your daughter alone. I wouldn't stoop that low. And I was like, well, hold on. Your levels of stooping are way skewed because to me, you've stooped as low as you can go, homie.
Yeah. So I think him hearing that his wife is dead broke him. Because
absolutely.
He was so desperate for the 13, 14 episodes to not have that happen.
Yeah.
And have her leave and have her discover the secrets. So that desperation of potentially... He essentially thought he killed his wife. He thought he was like, it was my fault. It's my doing that she is now dead because I've lived this facade for 15 years and hid all these secrets, and this guy, I took this guy's identity, and now he was on the revenge path to get back at me and kill everything I love, and now that she's dead, he won. So I have nothing to lose. Granted, he has the daughter, but, like, he wasn't thinking like that. Like, his anchor died. So he had nothing to keep him sane anymore. And I think Moonjin also knew that too. Like, he knew, oh god, she's dead. That is not good because he has nothing keeping him sane anymore.
Right. Do you mean Minsuk, the victim that was in the cage?
Yeah, Minsuk. Okay. Sorry. I don't know why I keep saying Moonjin.
Moonjin is the journalist, so then I
don't know why I keep saying the journalist.
Okay, yeah, in my notes we have here a descent into madness with him hunting the accomplice, Hyunsung, all through the woods. He sees his father walking ahead and follows his path, which is very on the nose.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. There's like a nuance went out the door for the last couple of episodes. Like, I don't know. It just was too easy. Yeah.
I think that was one. I mean, obviously the writers knew they were going to do the amnesia thing in episode 16. So there was only so much episodes they had. We didn't know at the time, but there was a timeline they need to meet in order for all of that to happen. I think it also showed the descent into madness that Lee Joon-Gi's character was doing. And slipping and having... I mean, granted, we saw that timeline throughout the entire drama, but the closer you got to the end, the more that was being revealed, crumbling away. Hallucinations were getting worse and worse, that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think it seemed rushed because I think Lee Joon-Gi's character was sort of being bombarded at the same time.
I like that. Okay, I'm gonna go with that and kind of cut it a little bit of slack, but I'm still a little bit like
I understand. Yeah.
I do think that I've come to the end of my notes. I have the closing quote from... Who do I have? Who is this? I think it's the sister. So the sister's in jail. Ji-won, the wife, goes to see her. And the sister says, since I met you, I've come to believe one thing. The pain we're experiencing right now is just a step we need to go through to accept more things later on in life. But I still hope you feel less pain. And I was like, that's very... Just like, she's like the guru of this show. Despite having her own issues, she seems to have a good grasp on life. And this final quote is really nice, I feel.
Yeah.
To kind of wrap up everything that, you know, the pain now is just a step in the positive direction that later it's not going to matter. And, you know, I hope you feel less pain.
Well, I think she was talking, like, yes, it was said towards the sister, which was very...
Well, it was the sister that said it toward the wife, Ji-won.
Yes. I think the sister said it to the wife, which at the moment the wife needed to hear. I think at the same time, it was that quote was a common thread that a lot of characters needed to hear throughout this drama. Including herself. So she probably was talking to herself at some point as well by saying that. Yeah.
I agree. All right. Do you have
I
anything
also want
else
to talk okay, I do want to say.
For sure.
So one of the best scenes that I loved was the whole pool scene.
Did you like that pool scene?
I love the pool scene.
Yeah, we come full circle with that one because I think that's the intro scene.
Yeah, that was pretty. It was pretty much like I think it was episode 4 or 5.
Yeah, it happened when it actually happened within the timeline of the show.
Right.
Was I think like episode 7 or something. No, 4. Early.
I think it was early. It was earlier.
Yeah. 4.
Yeah. I love that
4.
scene. I liked one, I was like, man, he's doing like, I don't know how, I mean, obviously it's not like he was under the water for the entire scene. Like they're obviously going to be like shooting up. But like just the way they shot it, he was doing his own little stunt thing in the water, the wife going in to save him, the desperate attempt to revive him, like that type of thing. I love that whole action scene with both her and the husband, but also with the cops that came with her and the fighting that happened with them.
Yeah, there's like fighting. One guy gets shanked. The taxi driver dies because he's the one that kidnapped him. There's a lot of extraneous characters that are somehow related to the cases and the victims, and the taxi driver was like one of them. I really like the pool scene. I thought it would happen later in the show because, of course, you have this intro scene and you're kind of waiting for this almighty pool scene to happen. It happens super early in the show.
Right.
At the end of episode 4. And that's his first brush with death. And
right.
I mean, he survives. He was also in a coma after that one.
Yep.
Too.
I think what I liked about that scene so much too was it was like our first real clue on how crazy this show could get and would get. Because I think it happened so early on because like the back end of this drama is just absolutely nuts and bonkers and like secret being revealed after secret and like all these stuff.
You have a guy that was in a coma for 17 years, getting up and walking. Yeah. You know, regular stuff.
And I think that's why I like the scene so much, because it was a really early, like, it was entertaining. It was a crazy scene. It was kind of a clue of how crazy this show could get and would get.
I think it is an elaborate set piece.
Well, that, and also when you were speaking earlier of like they had tropes, but it like turned the trope on the head. It wasn't the wife in the water. It wasn't like, it wasn't another wife cop being saved or a puppy dog cop being shanked or whatever. It was the older gentleman being shanked while the puppy dog cop was coming in and trying to save him. Like, I loved the reversal of roles in the, as well.
Got you. Yeah. And the puppy dog cop kills the serial killer accomplice at the end of the show as well. He's the one that shoots him dead. Yeah. Not the seasoned, experienced, hard-headed, instinct-driven cop who was actually, that dude was in Vincenzo as well.
One thing I do say at the end where the where Kim Ji-hoon's character like gets the gun off the cop and like shoots. That was one scene where I was like, "Come on, really?"
Yeah.
Like,
this was the worst like takedown that they could have done.
I know. Honestly, I did think they would fall off the cliff. I thought they were going to go that direction for a while.
I thought that once the cop showed up and there was all of this tension, what was going to break the tension was the serial killer accomplice throwing him off the cliff.
Right. Or going both of them over. Yeah.
True. That's what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah. I thought both of them were going to go over. That's what I thought, too.
Okay. So we both had the same instinct. Never happened.
Yeah.
Someone gets shot.
Yeah. I did not think that... I mean, I knew something was going to happen in that scene. I did not predict how it played out. But, because again, that was episode 14. Like, you had 2 more episodes, 14, 15. I was like, there's too much in this story. There's something else that has to happen with this. So, I mean, I knew that wasn't going to be the end or anything like that. But
we have some serious qualms with the pacing of the last 3 episodes.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah. But still, you would recommend this show.
Oh, absolutely. It was a fun ride. Like, definitely would recommend this show.
Got you.
Yeah.
Fair. I think I would recommend it too. I think it's kind of old school in the way that it's set up, but then you have a lot of role reversals and in a lot of the same tropes, and it's fun and wild and kind of deep on certain levels. The relationship's really something to behold, and acting is really good. I don't know if I would ever watch this again, truly.
I would. I probably would.
Yeah. But this is your genre as well. I don't think this is necessarily my.
I mean, it also is
genre.
very telling when multiple countries are planning on remaking it too.
That's true as well.
So.
What was the most recent one that said they were going to remake it?
Well, India said it. India definitely did it, and I think Philippines just announced too. I want to say, or they already did it, something like that.
Oh my god!
I know at least 2 countries said they were redoing it. Would not be surprised if America said it.
Okay, so we have to come back together to review Flower of Evil Philippines edition when it gets released. Oh man. Okay, Caitlin, is there anything else you'd like to say? We've been here over 2 hours. Is there anything else you'd like to say about Flower of Evil?
Well, I mean, we've been here for 2 hours. I think we had said enough. I could go on about it though.
You could? Oh god.
I could. But we need to stop somewhere.
No. But like, talk to us on social media. I think we can continue this conversation on a one-on-one for a lot of people who have more to say or want to talk to Caitlin about whatever else she has to talk about. Flower. I'm just so entertained by the fact that you have more to say, possibly.
Yeah.
But yes, please contact us at ATC Daebak Pod, and Caitlin, your handle is at NoSleep4 dramas, and you are very active on Twitter as well. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so is it fair to say you interact more on Twitter than on Instagram?
No, I'm pretty much the same on both. Okay. I will interact with whoever.
Whatever platform you feel more comfortable on, Twitter or Instagram, Caitlin is all here, ready to talk about Flower of Evil, and so am I to a certain extent. I think I left it all on the dance floor, so to speak. Thank you so much, Caitlin, for coming and talking at length about Flower of Evil and being game to do this, ride this thing again, Caitlin. Thank you.
Anytime. I love talking about stuff. So,
yes, this was good. This was entertaining. All right, we're gonna get out of here. That's been our show. I'm Jessica, and this has been ATC Presents Daebak K-Rambles Podcast.
아무 방향 없이 마른 공길에 매던 내게 와주어서 어쩌면 잘못된 선택일지 몰라 그저 미안해 이 이야기의 끝이 어디일지 몰라도